Our speaker today is Mayor Pete Lewis, who is going to give us the state of the city. Mayor Lewis was elected to his current office, his current term, in January of 2002 after serving as a city council member since 1998. He's currently serving his third term. He strongly believes in community involvement, partnerships, and he's always been active in a variety of local organizations and encourages others to do the same. I think we've gone through his resume several times, but you know, he is the past president of the Auburn Area Chamber of Commerce. He believes wholeheartedly in Auburn, and he is a great leader for us. So I'd like to ask the mayor to come up and please provide us the state of the city.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to coming here with the state of the city, in part because of all the excellent people that are a part of this city and do great things. I look around the room and I see all these business leaders that are here. I appreciate the fact that both the president of Green River Community College and the superintendent of the Auburn School Districts is here, as well as my mentor, my mayor, Mayor Booth. I also like the fact that we had asked that different members of our community come forward, and that included Jason Kim and Linda Kim, which I appreciate you being here. Joe Sandu, I'll bet you're right over there. Thank you for coming. And Ralph Ybarra. We have a wonderful community here. We have an outstanding council here, and I appreciate the fact that some of my council members were able to make it today as well. I'm not always sure whether they're coming to hear my speech or to make sure of what I'm going to say. Either way, either way, they're greatly appreciated on my side. Now, each year, since my first report to you in 2002, I've had to talk about the difficulties facing our community. Each year, we have lost revenue because of state mandates and initiatives. Each year, we've had to cut the cost of government relative to the number of citizens. And each year, we've seen more people move to the Auburn area. There was a recent article in the Seattle Times that showed the population of the state of Washington had almost doubled in the last 40 years. Here at home, we have seen our population change since 1970 from 23,000 to 68,000 people. More people, less revenue per person, more need for basic services. With all that, I must tell you I've got more hope and optimism today than I have had at any of these speeches for the state of the city. Each month I have watched the reports as sales tax rises a little. New home building permits increase a bit. Sales of houses increases a little. And new businesses licenses are also on the increase, and businesses are opening all over town. There are signs of improvement here. We must always remember that the council is the legislative arm of our government, and all the accomplishments of the last decade that you've seen in our city began with their policy deliberations. And this year was significant for the council for another reason. In my first year on the council, it was decided that we would have a visioning retreat. It was a stunning accomplishment and set the tone for the city of Auburn for years to come. We had a united vision, mayor and council, coming out of that retreat, and all of its details were put on a map and then bolted to the wall behind the council dais to ensure that all would know the direction stated by council. It worked so well that just a few years later, council had to go to retreat again to update their plan because much of the plan had already been completed. Council went into retreat again in 2010 on October 28th, and out of that came specific statements and 78 priorities. They began with a stated vision of our city. As a city of regional significance, proud of its small town heritage, as well as the diversity of its people and neighborhoods, Auburn offers an opportunity for high quality of life for people of all ages. And then they went on to restate the Auburn's mission statement, to provide a service-oriented government that meets the needs of our citizens and business community through efficient and professional management with responsible and accessible leadership. They created strategies, One Auburn, a strong sense of community, allowing all people to appreciate each other through celebration and working together to solve problems cooperatively. Sustainability, economic vitality, coupled with environmental stewardship, while planning and acting for our future. Quality, striving for the best in people, projects, and services. Partnership, continually seeking and maintaining productive relationships with our internal and external partners. Livability, providing a safe and desirable community. These are great goals. A specific list of programs and projects available to all build on a strong foundation of the work done by our City Council. This council has been able to formulate this body of work in good part because of the involvement of almost all the members of the City Council in county, regional, state, and federal organizations. As you know, I am very impressed with all of those people who are willing to go above and beyond their required duties to represent their city and bring back the best for Auburn. One Auburn. Thank you. One Auburn. We are a city that works in partnership. We are a two-county city that works with two county executives, two county councils, and two groups of very knowledgeable staffs that have different terms of meeting for the same subject. In addition, we work with a semi-sovereign nation, their council president and council, Muckleshoot. We work with the three cities of the lake, with Bonnie Lake, Buckley, and Sumner, to ensure our future water supply and the safety of the lake in a new membership and partnership with the Cascade Water Alliance. We partner with the 9 industrial cities called Valley Cities in the 2 counties with Fife, Puyallup, Sumner, Algona Pacific, Kent, Renton, and Tukwila. The mayor of Pacific has always been a partner too and enjoys, I know, the relationship with our Valley City organization. The Green River cities of Auburn, Kent, Renton, and Tukwila work with a common goal to keep us all safe, as well as preserve the economic vitality of the entire Puget Sound region working on the Green River. We are part of the King County Flood Control District Advisory Board, founded on the firm foundation of the original 4-city Green River Flood Control District made up of those same 4 cities. The cities of Auburn, Federal Way, Kent, Renton, and Tukwila are the owners of our 911 system, Valley Communication, which we refer to as Dispatch. The cities of Auburn and Algona Pacific form the very first of its kind, the Valley Regional Fire Authority, and our cities work closely together on a number of issues, including business development and education for our children. We're in the process of completing interlocal agreements with our southeast cities to provide private and nonprofit agencies more access to grant funds through supportive housing and other housing through our SEARCH program. We are a part of the South County Transportation Board and the 4-county Puget Sound Regional Council. We are active in the National League of Cities and the U.S. Conference of Mayors. We have a large school district, a wonderful community college high on the hill, Boeing plant, huge Social Security office and GSA facility, as well as an FAA facility high on another hill. We work in partnership with all, and we know as a border city we must continue these relationships. My thanks go again to our council, willing to give of themselves outside of the boundaries of their city in the name of the people that they represent. Council's concept of One Auburn really stuck with me. We are a land of immigrants, from the first people who settled after the last of the great Lahars, to the immigrants from Northern Europe, the Mediterranean countries, and Asia. Lately, our citizens have come from Eastern Europe, India, Polynesia, Central and South America, and Africa. Each wave of immigration here has added to the one before and brought new flavor and dimension to the city of Auburn. All immigrants have arrived in Auburn with the promise of a life of safety, freedom, and the possibility of a bright future for their children they could not find anywhere else in the world. I have been concerned about the barriers we've created on both sides for generations because of mistrust, mistreatment, misunderstanding by past generations. Auburn, as a community, is extending the hand of friendship to all who make up our community. We do not ask that they lose their individual identities, but they add to their rich traditions to enrich our community. The hand of Auburn will be stretched out in friendship. I believe there is now a foundation for a much closer degree of cooperation, not to be driven by Auburn, but in cooperation for all. But there are other areas and layers of Auburn as well. We have an old Auburn that remembers the Auburn of 20,000 people, a small town where everyone knew each other and everybody was safe. Even in the worst of times, that small community worked together and cared for each other. Until the 60s, the boundaries of Auburn, after all, extended to 12th Street northeast and 12th Street southeast. Even in the 70s, the boundaries only extended down toward Game Farm Park, and those neighborhoods around Game Farm Park were just being incorporated as the Auburn City Lagoon, sewage lagoon, was emptied out. But while some of that area felt safe, some had other consequences, including one of the highest unemployment rates, the lowest average income, the highest crime rate of any city in King County, and enormous problems with youth pregnancy and teen suicide. Thank God that old Auburn is gone. From 20,000 to almost 70,000 people, the people of old Auburn have become a minority. And that's difficult for many of us, as more and more people will be a part of us. We need to understand how we have been changing. We have differences in cultures, in arrival dates, and in income. Some of the lowest income people in King County live in Auburn. Some of the highest income people in King or Pierce County live in Auburn. And we will work to bring them all together into one Auburn. The state of Washington and the counties are now addressing, and we're glad to see they are addressing, their budget problems. One area that's being cut by both state and county deals with human services. The nonprofit agencies that deal with the most that are in need, especially for the elderly, for those abused through domestic and sexual violence, and those who assist children driven from their homes, have all been told they will lose funding, and they will lose funding now. Cities may have been racked with financial losses for years, but cities can't pass the buck. Recent newspaper articles suggest nonprofits and cities simply couldn't take up the burden that's going to be put upon them. There's no choice that's been given to us. These are our own people. We might not have the funds necessary, but we do have the heart of the community. Working with all sectors of our community, business, faith, citizens from all the sectors as well as the city, we must find new ways to help those most in need. The Auburn Food Bank lines are longer. Auburn Youth Resources, the Sexual Assault Resource Center, and so many more are stretched to their absolute limits today and more to come. There is no other unit of government lower, or to my way of thinking, closer to the people. These are our people. Your neighbor next door might be quietly taking their place in the food bank line. And a daughter who goes to school with your daughter might be the one being abused today. There is no neighborhood here that I see where I cannot make sure and verify that that is a true statement. Every one of your neighborhoods, every one of your blocks today has a problem that includes a human service need that in many cases is most grievous. I call on all of our agencies to come together. The nonprofits, the faith communities, the service clubs, the schools, the business, and together we must find ways to take care of our people. In a time of recession, when families are torn apart, a time of such great stress that the dynamics of our society are changing, we must increase our relationships and partnerships with all groups. We are a community that takes care of our own, and I ask all who hear or read this message to keep hope in their hearts to come forward to help. Now, we're not talking about the old myths of the bum standing on the corner, but perhaps a person on your block that lost their job months ago, and they're now facing the foreclosure of their home. They're standing in the food bank line at 4 o'clock in the morning, hoping to be able to feed their children. This could be a friend of your daughter who's being sexually abused at home this minute, or an abused wife or husband whose plight has been made so much worse by the stress of the economy. It could be a child who sits quietly in class with your child who is out on the streets every night with no place to stay or is couch surfing from home to home in an attempt to escape an abusive relationship at home. There are so many women with children trying to find a safe spot to shelter their children in the cold of winter. None of us, and I mean none of us, are safe from that taking place. It is only a matter of circumstances that keep us from standing in that line, or our children from abuse. The federal government is cutting back and told the state government they have no funds, and the state will have to take responsibility. Our state government is billions in the red, and told county governments they have no money and it is a county responsibility. All of these governments went to the cities and said they were in the red, they had no money, and it was the city's responsibility. There's no one left for us to turn around to. We can't be in the red. Cities cannot operate in the red. They must balance their budgets. Cities can't turn to a lower governmental jurisdiction. We are the lowest level of government, and to me the part closest and the most truly representative of the people that we serve. But cities, gutted through the initiatives of the last 10 years and then devastated by the Great Recession, have nothing left either. Auburn's Great Council still dedicates 1% of the previous year's general fund expenditures to human services. That was over $486,000 last year. Not many cities do that. There's over 100 requests each year from different agencies, and far less than 30 agencies actually receive the funds using all of those funds. Everyone else has cut back. There was an article in the paper this month that human service agencies won't be able to meet that need. It was a follow-up to the Seattle Times. The funds your city has is a thimbleful compared to the sea of need around us. What are we going to do? That has been the statement asked by so many people in so many different venues. What are we going to do? The answer is we'll do here what Auburn has always done. We'll work together to help our people because we must. I do want to see the faith community come together now and work in a cooperative manner with each other to take care of for those not just within the congregation, but within the city. Reaching out a hand to help is done in many ways, and this is where it starts. On the block next to you. It's not about opening the doors of the churches. It's about opening the doors of the churches and going out into the neighborhoods by you to help those in need. I've talked to them before, and I know that they're already starting up on these activities and starting to reach out to the neighborhoods closest to them. I do want to see the service and fraternal organizations come together to help as well in this hour of need. We have great organizations. We have Eagles and Elks and Kiwanis and Lions and Optimists, Seroptimus, Rotary and Toastmaster. We have the VFW. We've got the Legion. We have many organizations who can help. Each of those organizations have their own separate mission today. Our community needs them to work together as well, and they must find their own way. First, I call on them to meet. First, I ask that all of our great service fraternal organizations make an effort to bring their presidents of their organizations together to talk, to make sure that each knows the service areas of the other, and then to see what they could do together to help the need that's before us. Perhaps they might combine efforts into one great community project in this time of great need, and that might be one of the finest projects they do in this decade. And I ask that their leadership meet now and see what can be done. The businesses do help through the clubs, but there should be a call from the Chamber of Commerce as well, and the Auburn Downtown Association, to find ways in specific areas to help those most vulnerable. The nonprofit human service organizations must step up as well. And an even tighter cooperative act in an even tighter cooperative manner to give the most they can collectively to meet as much of the need as they can. We must find ways for them to move together, and that time is coming now so that help that is needed is in a place where it can be reached and used with the organizations working at an even higher and more cooperative level. The city's commitment is unchanged. Its willingness to work in any and all partnerships is unwavering, and the need is right now. I know with our council here that that is a strong commitment that I can make in the name of the city, and it's unwavering. One of the things that I say to many groups here, and I say it again today, you know we don't have a lot of cash right now, but you still do not ask for enough. There are so many different ways we might work together. Always remember to ask, and then ask of each other at the same time. This is a time when the relationship between the city government and the Auburn School District and Green River Community College, strained by budgetary limitations placed on both of us, all of us, by outsiders, must be strong for the sake of our children. The schools. The Auburn School District, Green River Community College, has been rocked to their heels in the last few days because of announcements that have come down from Olympia. I do not believe that that is the end of it. I do not believe that with the budget commitments that have been made so far that the state can balance their budget yet. And there's very few places to cut. There's very few things that can be cut, and the schools are wary every single day of what might be coming toward them. Right here in Auburn, we must find new ways, new partnerships to give our children the chance to excel, even in these times. The opportunity we want for all of our children and our grandchildren. Any barriers that limit what we should do for our children's future must be reduced by an outstretched hand for each agency. We will work in cooperation with our school district, with our community college, with after-school groups in economic development to bring us all into one Auburn community. Now, I've noted in my travels that schools in a large part of the United States are run by the cities. Oof. When a school district, a college, or an individual school has a need, their mayor will go to Congress directly with them and advocate for that individual need. Now, if you didn't notice, I have no interest in running anybody's school. But I must say I see no barrier at all to keep us from working in partnership in Auburn to ensure the best for our children, whether it be in Olympia or in the halls of Congress. And I pledge myself to that goal in the name of our children, the future leaders of Auburn. Because of our rich cultural, and economic, and geographic diversity, several years ago I brought elements from several departments to work from my office under community development. I've asked some of my people to be here because of that. We created the Multicultural Roundtable, the Neighborhood Meeting Program, as well as many efforts in an effort to reach out and bring together this great community. Council's concept of One Auburn fits this mission specifically, and I will use it to expand into the neighborhoods of diversity in all kinds, whether it be called language, race, economic strata, or arrival date. We are all together in this city of ours, and with each adding to the other, we will all, each and collectively, be better for it. Sustainability, economic development, coupled with environmental stewardship, goals of the council. Over time, we must increase the business sales tax and property tax income, not by adding new taxes, but by bringing in the businesses we want in the places we want them to be located to reduce the tax burden on our individual citizens and our business structure. We need jobs for our people, and not just minimum wage jobs, but businesses with good family wage jobs for us and our children and their children, so that they will want to stay and be a part of this wonderful community of ours. We have been named as an arts and entertainment center for South King and North Pierce County. It seems almost strange that the newest people to be here in Auburn have the most identification with that statement. It seems the change has gone almost unnoticed by those who have been here the longest. Auburn is all about arts and entertainment. We are a city of parades and known for that across the country. In the 60s, a town of just 20,000 people built a 1,000-seat performing arts center that's still the largest South King and North Pierce Center. In the 90s, a city of just over 30,000 brought in and maintained a regional orchestra second to none in the entire state. Our partnership with the Muckleshoot and our partners there maintain the largest amphitheater in the state, while Emerald Downs is the largest racetrack. Live theater Comedy, drama, music, arts, parade, and entertainment are basic to our way of life and quality of life, and we must expand this, not just for the tax dollars, but as an expression of our heart and soul. If the small town of Auburn Pass could achieve what they have done, what can this generation achieve as its legacy? Council has invested a great deal of time in an effort to bring back our downtown through the 6-block Catalyst projects. 2 full blocks are now done, and the next steps are underway. This year we will complete the City Plaza, first conceived by Council more than 5 years ago, and then we'll move to the extended plaza across the street where Marvell Grocery once stood. Marvell is an ongoing partner to our downtown development and doing extremely well in their new location. With the extended plaza completed, Division Street from Main Street to 3rd will be transformed into the new promenade with the aid of a $3 million grant from the Federal Economic Development Agency and $7 million from state tax increment financing beginning this year. The promenade, with 20-foot wide sidewalks on each side, places to sit, talk, and relax, will also contain state-of-the-art stormwater retention and detention facilities, permeable concrete applications, and all the infrastructure necessary to a 21st century city will be set up in our downtown, along with high-density residential development next to our transit center, by our downtown grocery, our hospital, our retail development, and our entertainment center that will not just be near to, but connect Old Main Street with New Main Street. Should we have an international element to our downtown? You'd think so. It's a concept we should look at. With our reputation for the arts, should we have an arts and entertainment facility in the midst of our downtown? What we do now, every step we take now, will be reflected in our future. But your council has gone much further than that with development. And as you can tell, I'm a little proud of council. When they were talking about their retreat, they talked about a total of 5 different areas of commercial development that included higher density residential development spread across the town in a model that began with the work of the Auburn Area Chamber of Commerce several years ago. That work also recognized that while we no longer receive sales tax from projects manufactured in Auburn because of the streamlined sales tax laws, these are still good family wage jobs, and the manufacturing sector of our economy and our city needs to be recognized and developed, especially with the ties to the environmentally industrial district and sector that is growing every year now here in Auburn. I appreciate and support the work of the Chamber to be increasingly and actively involved in business development. We called on the Chamber to create a retail council and a manufacturing council, and we must support the Auburn Downtown Association, known today as Ta-da. I like that concept. It just fits in with art and entertainment as well. Excuse me. I made the comment about the Chamber bringing back, especially a manufacturing council. Manufacturing was the heart and the soul of Auburn for almost 50 years. And because of changes, and quite frankly, because new people left, people came in, both on the business side and the chamber side, we've lost that identification, that connection. We need to reestablish that. And I hope to work with the chamber and help perhaps be an agent so that we can move that relationship forward still. Our 50-year-long relationship and association with our city of Tamba in Japan has now brought us the possibility of new economic ties for our businesses. Now, I know there's other possibilities as well with the Korean sister city, an Italian sister city, a sister city from India perhaps. All of these can add to our city of Auburn. In particular, with Japan and Tamba, we know that a Japanese business delegation will be coming to see the business community, not the city, the business community this summer. And we want to work with the Chamber to ensure successful business connections are made for our businesses here in Auburn. We must work together to ensure that we do not lose a single opportunity to succeed anywhere in our city. Development that keeps our hillsides free of dense development in an economically and environmentally sound model is the key to all the work done by our council. In our council's development model, environmentally significant development is specifically called out. They created the model in a region of environmentally concerned resources in an urban setting with our 180-acre environmental park. And they lead the region with the creation of the business green zone for environmental businesses and have already started working with common sense companies and that produce products people won't have to be forced to accept, but will want to because of price point and benefit. We look for good environmental stewardship in all that we do, from the design of a storm pond, a roadway, to the placement of the right kind of tree and how many can be planted. After all, we are a federally designated tree community, and we do it the Auburn way by involving all that we can. We are environmentally active in so many common sense ways that offer attractive and cost-efficient alternatives for our citizens. Even in the redevelopment efforts of our downtown right now, not only are we installing state-of-the-art stormwater facilities, but we've updated codes to offer incentives for building in return for adding to an environmentally sound future. You might ask why we keep pushing on the green technology in the manufacturing sector. It's because it's not about just jobs, but the kinds of jobs, good family wage jobs. It brings with it the possibility of using our existing manufacturing capacity in a whole new manner to expand our manufacturing sector. Council's decision to create our 180-acre environmental park and green business district is just now beginning to bear fruit as the first environmentally associated businesses begin to move in. We have an asset in what we've created out of wetlands. We have an asset in a huge manufacturing sector that has ignored what's going on around it and somewhat been ignored itself. We have the ability to change the scope of their business, to give them new business and a new life in a changing world in the green sector. Green is not just about jobs, it's also about quality of life. Now, we found through our surveys how important quality of life is to our people, and our parks and trails are important not just for the enjoyment of a walk or a bike ride, but also for a commute. I formed the Mayor's Bicycle Task Force and brought in citizens and businesses from all over our community. How do you get across town to home or business? What routes make sense? What can we do to improve access without blocking traffic? Is it possible to safely bring back bicycling for our children as a method for them to get to school and back at a time when child obesity is increasing? Working with the 9 Valley cities, we've created and passed through them a tri-trail interlocal agreement to connect 3 regional trail systems. The interurban trail begins in Seattle and with its additional connections to the Gilman Trail and others ends in the city of Pacific. The Foothills Trail currently goes through the middle of Sumner to Buckley, and the Riverwalk Trail goes from Tacoma to the eastern side of Puyallup. With the efforts of our 9 cities, we can create a trail system for King and Pierce County region, second to none in the entire United States, at the cost of just a few missing miles of connection. Transportation has been on the forefront all these years, and our Save Our Streets initiative has had a program of work each year for 4 years now to bring our local streets up to standard after having no ability to do so since the early 80s. Now we are getting to the most difficult of streets, the old concrete streets and those built in another area as well, without stormwater systems or even sewer systems. Each one of those streets must now include new storm, water, or sewer pipes, put a strain on that particular utility. And that can cause an increase in your storm bill, your water bill, your sewer utility for each of our citizens. And in these most difficult of times, if too many are done at any one time, the rates will go up. Each remaining neighborhood knows full well that their street is the worst in the system. Council's charge each year to the city engineers is to find the most that can be done with the least impact on the monthly utility bills of our citizens. And those choices are difficult. They are lobbied consistently by the neighborhoods, and they have done an outstanding job of making sure that the engineers provide the data on what's the most that can be done with the least cost to everyone else. And I appreciate that. We are also working on our arterial streets, and with the aid of the Arterial Street Task Force, made up of citizens and businesses, again led by the Chamber of Commerce, we were able to define the priority map, and we're now working on that process each year for improving our arterials. Frankly, it's not enough. We cannot get money for roads from the county, from the state, or the federal government anymore, except in the case of failure. And our 100-year-old city infrastructure is wearing out, a fact that's reflected across all the cities in the state of Washington. Now, we're working today, right now, with the state of Washington and the Association of Washington Cities to create a street maintenance utility to allow for a public vote by individual cities that would provide ongoing local funding, and in Auburn's case, sunset both the Save Our Street program and the 1% levy on utilities. A street utility would work much like a storm utility. While a lot of people drive through our town and benefit from the fact of our massive storm pumps in our ponds and the 200-mile system of pipes that keeps the valley floor dry, we all use and need the system, and it is our ratepayers in the city of Auburn that pay for the system. Citizens, business, schools all need to make sure that our 200-plus mile system of roads work, even if those who pass through might benefit as well. Now, we will work with all in partnership on transportation, but we strongly believe something must be done now if we're going to have successful businesses in our region able to get goods and services quickly to markets. Every day, we lose more ground. Every day a road deteriorates, the cost of that road to be replaced doubles and triples. Every day we lose more miles throughout our city and throughout the valley. We have been showing our street utility throughout the area. We'll continue to do so. And we ask again of the groups who talk about this and consider the timing, we ask, if not this, show us what you would do and show us what you would do now. If not this, in business, as a commuter, as a citizen, if not this, what can you do now so that we can have safe roads and roads our businesses can use to get their products where they need to go? But there's more than roads. We've been a railroad town for more than 100 years. When commuter rail was a dream Our citizens and businesses completed the plans and were approved under the original RTA, and we have the very first transit center ever completed in this system. Even though we were recently denied again the long-awaited funding and construction of the needed parking at the 2nd or C Street garage at the transit center, even after the promise included in the Sound 2 vote by the Sound Transit Board, we will continue to work for that facility. The people of Auburn will have an opportunity to talk about the need for parking at Sound Transit this year, starting with Sound's open house this January 27th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Auburn City Hall. Auburn's work on the transit center predates Sound Transit. Auburn has proven themselves time and time again to be a strong partner to Sound Transit, and we will all work together to make sure that partnership and that trust is reciprocal. Recently, we had a meeting with Sound Transit. We understand that our project is not denied. It has been tabled and it is now being reviewed to see if it can be done under the new economy of Sound Transit. We will need your input at the public meetings to ensure the voice of Auburn is heard, not just from City Hall, but from all across the city. Our agreement with Pierce, Metro, and Sound to provide commuter service to the station on One Hill is a beginning. Yet we lack almost any other transit service for our Pierce County residents, numbering almost 7,000 people, and Lee Hill is almost as isolated. We need more transit service. We need to work more in partnership to find the service this city should receive. In addition, as a 100-year-old railroad town at the crossroads of two counties, where both railroad lines go through as well as major highways, we are awaiting the approval of the new Amtrak train routes, and with that, the belief that the new route should be established and again bring Auburn a national train stop, not by taking from another community, but by simply having different access points for the new trains to come on board, including Auburn, as is done through much of the rest of the United States right now. We're also in agreement with our neighboring cities of Enumclaw, Covington, Black Diamond, and Maple Valley that since their road operations and options are so limited by geography and money, that the possibility of a self-propelled passenger car called a DMU from their cities to Auburn using the Stampede Pass line would allow them access to Sound Transit, Metro, Pierce Transit, and Amtrak as the only practical solution. We will continue to work hard to ensure our place as a safe and desirable community. In a growing community, we must work hard to go out to the neighborhoods to ensure that we can provide opportunities for people to know each other and keep each other safe. I created our neighborhood program for that purpose and have pledged to the citizens that if they ask at any time, I will come. It will not become a political or a politician's forum. I will come with the police and transportation planners, code enforcement, whoever might be needed. It will not become an activist platform for anyone. This is about keeping our neighborhoods safe, and I will keep it to that type of a commitment. We come not to give speeches. We introduce ourselves and then ask for questions, problems, concerns, and solutions. We will note down all that was said and offer people good choices for their neighborhoods. Now, in the last 10 years, initiatives and legislative mandates, some by the people, not the economy, have dealt multi-million-dollar blows to all cities, including Auburn. In fact, my first State of the City speech in 2002 included losses of income already in effect at that time, and each year your city has lost more income to perform the services needed. Beginning in 2008, we further cut back both budget and personnel as required first by the initiatives and then by the dramatic blow of the recession. We know that there's more losses to come. With the schools, we'll share in those losses as well. Yet our mandates for services and public safety remain our priority. We cannot have police at every intersection, every school zone, at every traffic light. Now, because of deaths and injuries to our people, we instituted red light cameras at specific intersections. With the net proceeds of PhotoSafe red light cameras as required by council, just this last year, we completed 13 neighborhood traffic calming improvements, including speed cushions, numerous warning signs, school zone flashing beacons, and others. You may have heard some politicians vying for votes and those who would be talk about how bad red light cameras are, using statistics from other parts of the country and years past. I want to say specifically to them, no one has died there. No one has died since we put them in. People are safer here because we put them in. Our lights are timed per the laws of the state of Washington and national standards. Funds from our red light system go back to our citizens and their neighborhoods, their streets, for a safer community by council ordinance. Listen to the politicians talk, and remember your vote can make a difference when election time comes. We know that these electronic devices can help. Council's decision to use any net proceeds of the red light cameras and local neighborhood calming can help, but in order to have safe neighborhoods, neighborhoods must be a part of the solution. For our children's sake, we must know and care for our neighbors. We cannot continue the failed practices of another time that allow us to pull in our driveways, wait for the garage door to open and close behind us, and with that cut out the world, and then say that our neighborhoods are not safe places for our children to play. We must come out and talk to each other, work with each other, and work in a positive manner with our police. The work done in community, in the neighborhoods, is important but does not stand alone. Increased block watch, police assigned to community response teams to stay in the neighborhoods, increased surveillance in problem areas, e-reporting of crimes to give the police more detail, all will be a part of a safer community and a safer Auburn. We have great challenges in 2011. We ended 2010 with the possibility of a glimmer of hope on the horizon, but it'll be years to come until we see the solid effects of recovery here at home. As always, we must work together to keep ourselves safe and out of harm's way. It's the Auburn way, and we will succeed. We are a city of great dreams that works in partnership for our sake and the sake of the generations to come. Livability, partnership, quality of life, and sustainability. One Auburn, bringing out the best of us for all of us in the generations to come. One Auburn, a united community with a bright future. One Auburn, working together into the future. One Auburn for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Lewis, for that great speech and inspirational thoughts for us to move forward in 2011.